Hi everyone, and welcome to the swatching section of the art haul video from the other day. It was so lovely to hear that so many of you enjoyed that video, and I really enjoyed filming it. It was so lovely to finally be able to have a closer look at all of the art supplies, so many different things, and several of which I haven't tried before, so I'm very excited to give these a go. And as I mentioned in the art haul video, this lovely Schmincke special edition palette will be featuring in a video of its own. So I'm going to be swatching that, giving you a closer look at it, and also creating some artwork with it too. And that will be in a separate video that's just dedicated to that. So today we're going to be looking at, to start with, watercolors. So I've gathered up all of the watercolors that I had in the art haul. We also have the liquid charcoal, which I'm going to do after the watercolors, because I think this might be very black. So I'm thinking it might make the water really dirty, and I don't want to kind of contaminate. I'm probably going to have to change the water halfway through anyway. But I think what we'll do is we'll start with the watercolors, and I'm just going to lay them down. I'm not going to do it in the normal way that I would normally swatch, where I write the names and it's all very neat. I want to actually try to layer, because I have so many interesting materials here. Like, for example, if you remember, I have the Art Graph carbon pencils. I want to layer those over the top of the watercolour. I have the Faber Castell watercolour marker pens. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to swatch these watercolours, and then I'll do the marker pens, I think. And then we can lay over the top the Art Graph pencils, the Pitt oil base pencils, which sound really interesting, and we've got different coloured pencils too, including Luminance and the Derwent Lightfast. So, oh yes, and we've got the woodies. We've got two woody 3-in-1. So all of these things are great for layering. So I think what would be really interesting, and so you can sort of see how I intend to use these in my work, what we'll do is we'll just really have fun on this piece of paper. So let's lay down some of the watercolour first. So I think I'm going to start with the Windsor & Newton Payne's Grey. This is my favourite Payne's Grey, I believe, that I have found so far. Let's just squeeze a little bit out of that tube. Feels like such a luxury to have one of the big Windsor & Newton watercolour tubes, because I think I've only ever bought the smaller ones up to this point. So it's nice that there's a lot of Payne's Grey in there. So many paintings I can create. Right, so I'll show you just what a gorgeous colour this is. Actually, I'll just hold that up so you can have a look. It's so inky. It's got such a lovely blue tone to it. Some Payne's Greys aren't quite so blue, but this one is stunning. So we're just going to swish that around over the paper. We'll leave some areas thicker. Drop some more in, because this will make a great base for layering on top of. I have to be careful I don't take up too much space, or I won't have room to swatch the rest. Looks like a bit of a cloud, doesn't it? Which one should we do next? I think let's stick to the blues over this side, and oh, we've got these Roman Schmorl, gorgeous violet kind of colours, and then we've got greens as well. What one shall I do next? I think maybe the Anthraquinone blue by M. Graham. Let's have a go at that one. The M. Graham paints are really, I guess because of all the honey, they're very silky is the word I would use. Let's just pop that over there. I've got so many things on the desk. Fortunately, you can't see how messy my desk is at the moment. You're only seeing a small section of it. But there are things all over the place. Oh wow, this is really, I don't know whether that's coming through on camera, but look at that blue. Oh wow, that is stunning. Oh gosh, that is a gorgeous colour, isn't it? Got beautiful depth to it. It works really well with Windsor and Newton. Just gonna, do you know what? I'm gonna just blend these a little bit. Let's just have fun here. This isn't my normal swatching. My normal swatching is much neater, but this is fun. I just want to play around with these really. So this one I'm going to put down next is the Neutral Tint from M. Graham. Actually, I'm just going to drop a little bit more of the M. Graham Anthraquinone blue in there. Oh well, the Neutral Tint. It probably just looks black to you, but to me, I can see sort of a violet-y, purple, gorgeous sort of slate colour. Oh wow. Oh yeah, this is a Natasha colour. Oh gosh, look at that. Somebody said in the comment section of the art haul video that they love this colour and they very rarely do a painting without it. I think I can see why. I'm just going to blend that up there. This all looks a bit random, but be a great base for layering. Okay, so we're going to have a look at the Schmincke Horadam limited edition Ocean Grey. Let's see what this looks like. I love that little box. I kind of want to keep it. Do any of you do this where you really like packaging and even though you have no use for it anymore, you kind of keep it, you put it in a drawer or something? Because this is what I do. And quite frankly, it's a bit of a strange thing to do really, but I probably will keep that box. Certainly for a while. Oh, this is an interesting colour. It's really muted. Oh, I like that. Oh, that's a beauty. Gosh, it looks it's very grey and slightly green as well. Oh, this is nice. I'm really glad I got this. I was kind of uncertain at first. I was like, do I really need that colour? But oh, it's separating too, I think. It's very granulating. Let's just drop some water in there, because I really want to see what these can do. And today, I just feel like playing. Yep, they're all gorgeous colours. I'm happy with those. I'm going to save that White Nights Quinacridone Rose. I'm going to change the water in a bit because I think we should stick to the darker colours. Let's just do those first. Okay, so next up is the greenish umber. This is the Sennelier Aquarelle watercolour. This is my first time trying this watercolour. I don't have any other Sennelier watercolours. Oh gosh, I really am loving all these colours. I don't think I ever buy a colour I don't like. Does that get boring for you? With me raving about everything? Would you like it if one time I had a colour and I was just like, this is really crap. I really hate it. The thing is, I kind of see good things in most colours, to be honest. I mean, there are some I wouldn't use in my work necessarily, but oh my goodness me. This, this is a beautiful colour. It kind of goes well with the ocean grey as well. They're not that dissimilar, that's just a bit more blue. Gosh, that is really nice. I mean, that one wasn't recommended to me. I just happened to see it on their colour chart when I was looking for this one, which is the forest green. I'm really glad I got that. It's another gorgeous muted colour, and I use those a lot in my work. Sorry if you can hear my chair making noises. I keep meaning to get a better chair to sit on to do my work, because this one isn't ideal. It's a lovely chair, but I think I'm going to move it to my office when I renovate that and get a more comfortable chair to actually sit at to do my work. I mean, it's not terrible, but I think it's probably not great for my posture. Oh gosh, look at this colour. Sorry, I say that about everything. I need to find a different way of describing. So this is, what did I say? It's forest green. Forest green Sennelier. Oh yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. Just blend it in a bit there. This is the most random swatching you've probably ever seen. But yeah, that's a beautiful colour too, isn't it? It works really well with the greenish umber. I like those two. I think they'll be a good addition to my, well, if I could fit any more in my greens palette, they'd be a good addition. I'm going to have to put them somewhere else, or I need a bigger palette for my greens palette. But they are really nice. Okay, next up, the Cascade Green by Daniel Smith. I need to oh, look at this. Look at this. This is typical Daniel Smith. They always explode. It's like I opened the others and they were absolutely fine, and this one is going everywhere. I guess Daniel Smith really liked to give you your money's worth with the paint. And it certainly makes it messy when you open it for the first time. I should have squeezed that at the bottom really to kind of pull the paint back in a bit, but I didn't. I don't know what to do with this because it's, look at the lid. Can you see that? There's so much in there. I need to kind of scoop it out or something. Daniel Smith Cascade Green has gone everywhere. It's all over my hands, it's all over the sink, and it's all over the desk. Right, let's really mix this up because I believe this one separates, so I need to give it space to do its thing. Let's put it over here. Oh, it's very pretty, isn't it? A pretty colour. Oh, it's running into that one now. Well, this is all part of it. We're just gonna play and layer. It's kind of not too dissimilar to the Forest Green by Sennelier, but I have a feeling it's probably, let's drop some water in there. It's probably going to do lots of nice stuff. Sorry, it's running down from the Payne's grey, but we can kind of see what they're doing. Okay, next, I think let's go with the Roman Schmorl. We'll do the Shadow Violet. Hello everyone, it's Editing Natasha here. I just wanted to let you know that I did in fact swatch these colours properly so that you can get a really good idea of how they look, and I'll be sharing that with you later in the video. I always seem such a shame to take these off because they're so pretty. They're wrappers with the little swatch of paint on there. Well, that's interesting. It looks like a sort of dark tealy kind of blue. Wasn't what I was expecting, but we'll see what it does when it's on the paper. Ah, it does look more, yeah, it's definitely more violet on the paper. That's a pretty colour. God, I can imagine painting like a rain cloud with this one. I normally stick to indigo for my rain clouds, but that's really nice. Mineral Violet is going to be the next one I'm going to swatch. It's actually really fun to do it like this. I just feel like I'm playing. Sometimes when I'm swatching like really, or trying to be neat, I never feel my swatches are really that neat, but when I'm doing that, I kind of feel a bit uptight. Like, I'm just gonna not care today. Oh, wow. What a colour. Really covering the page here, aren't I? Oh, I've splattered a bit there. Oh well, it's all part of it. Right, this is the Lapis Lazuli, as we say here in the United Kingdom, but I've heard many pronunciations. I feel like I'm unwrapping sweets when I take the wrappers off these little pans. Lapis Lazuli. Let's see what you can do. It's going to be quite weak, I think. The others were quite strong colours, and I'm expecting this one. Oh yes, it is. It's very, very subtle. I knew it was going to be like that. I kind of felt that would be quite an interesting thing to have in my palette. You know when you get days where the sky is this kind of it's like overcast, but it's got a little bit of blue to it. I kind of felt like this would be a really nice sky colour, because I'm not a fan of really blue skies in my paintings. I tend to do like night skies or cloudy skies. This is kind of a sort of overcast day sky, if that makes sense. Makes sense in my mind. But that is really nice. It's a lovely colour. But yes, it's not a strong colour. And we can add a little bit more. Let's just dot it in. See what happens. Right, I think I'm going to change the water now because we have the Quinacridone Rose and the water is this colour. Oh, hold on. What's going on here? This is covered up. It hasn't got... How do I... Does it peel off? I think I have to stab it. What can I stab it with? The end of a paintbrush. Oh my goodness. Oh, no, I think we're okay. Ah, there we go. Just use the end of a small paintbrush. That's the answer to that one. Right, let's move that up so we can... Oh, yes. Now that is a really good Quinacridone Rose. That is one stunning colour. Let's get it mixed in. It's got little lumps there, but they'll mix in. I can kind of feel that this White Nights paint isn't quite as high quality as the ones I've tried so far. And it was in fact the cheapest paint by quite a lot. But it seems to be a lovely paint for the money. So I think it's like £3.10 a tube or something, which is incredible. And that colour, oh my goodness. Look at that. Gosh, I love mixing these really vibrant pinks with softer pinks and greys and these kind of greyish blues like this Lapis Lazuli here. Let's just go all the way over here. Oh wow, that is actually, it is as bright and beautiful as I'd hoped. We'll leave it like that. Okay, I'm going to put this one aside to dry and we'll just play around with the liquid charcoal now. Let's see what this can do. Oh, I can see the slight bluish tint that it has. I don't know whether that's showing up on camera. It's kind of gritty, but not really gritty, but I can see like little particles in there. So in that way it differs slightly from watercolour paint, but let's just swatch it out and see. Of course it isn't watercolour paint, that's why it differs, but yeah, I just wanted to explain to you what is slightly different about it. Oh gosh, this is lovely. Let's actually just do a massive swatch where I kind of water it down a little bit. Oh, I love the texture. It kind of has this inbuilt texture. Yeah, this is just my kind of thing. I don't know how it's going to dry, but I love the fact that it's got this slightly streaky quality because it's kind of adding to the texture. We'll let that dry. I think I need a little bit more, actually. I didn't know how far a little squeeze of this was going to go, but if I want to lay it down quite heavily and make it really quite dark, I think I'm going to need more. Oh, it's so beautiful. I really love the texture. It's got me thinking about how I could incorporate this into my work and how I could layer over the top of it. Let's see how heavily we can apply this. It's really interesting to work with. I love the feel of it. I think this is even more enjoyable than I thought it was going to be. I thought I would like working with this, but this is really nice. I want to see how much it kind of smudges or not when it's dry. That would be interesting. Oh, I love it. I really love it. I mean, I know it hasn't dried yet, but okay, I'm going to leave it like that, and let's just do some lines just to see how it looks and get more of a feel for it. Oh, it's really interesting. It is different to watercolour for sure. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry and then I'm going to have a look at the other paints that we swatched earlier. And while these are drying, we'll work over the top of the other paints and then we're going to do a little bit of layering on top of these and we'll see what we can do. I'm really excited about this, this liquid charcoal. This is such an interesting new medium. Grapeseed black, this one is. I think they do a cherry pit black and a peach stone black. One is warm, one is I think more neutral, and this one is the cooler toned one. And obviously naturally I would go for that because I really like things that have this kind of bluish tone. So let's have a look at the other swatches. Okay, so this one is fully dry now, but I didn't want to leave it at that. I couldn't leave you just looking at this mess of a swatch sheet. So I did in fact off camera do a proper one for you so that you can get a really good idea of how the colours actually look when they're not blending into each other. So you can see why I like the Windsor & Newton Professional Payne's Grey so much. Just such a gorgeous colour. The Anthraquinone blue, you can really see it better on this one. Another stunning colour. I think that probably if I tried to layer this a little bit I could get it looking even deeper. I think it's just such a gorgeous blue and I'll probably be using that in night landscapes, I should imagine. The M. Graham Neutral Tint, really lovely colour. It'd be interesting to mix that with other colours and see what I can do with that. Obviously this is just a basic swatch of it, but you can see it's got a lovely sort of violet kind of tone to it, which I really like. The Schmincke Horadam Ocean Grey, absolutely stunning. Some really interesting stuff going on there. It separates and you get this really lovely turquoise blue, and of course you have this the kind of greys and blacks going on. I think that could be a really good one to experiment with, and I can see that I would easily use that in my landscapes. So I look forward to actually making some artwork with that one. So onto the second row, we have Roman Schmorl's Shadow Violet, followed by Mineral Violet, and the Lazurite, that's the Lapis Lazuli. All three colours I absolutely love. The Shadow Violet has got so much going on in it, and that could be a really interesting one too for night landscapes. That's immediately what springs to mind for me with this one. This one is incredible. The colour is so bright. The Lazurite, the Lapis Lazuli, that's a mouthful, is beautifully subtle. I really like the way these three look together. I could imagine using them all in the same painting. I think they look really stunning. Very impressed with Roman Schmorl's paints, I have to say. I really like the way they feel, and they wet very easily or re-wet very easily. The last one on the row is the White Knight's Quinacridone Rose. I love this colour. The colour is absolutely stunning. The only problem I've had with both swatches was that there are like little particles in the paint, which I kind of have to mix a bit with my brush to get it to disperse. So I'm not sure what that is. I don't know whether that's something that happens with their paints or not, but I have to say it's a lovely paint. It dries really nicely, and on this page you couldn't tell that that was the cheaper of the paints by quite some margin. I mean, it really looks like a beautiful paint. It's dried beautifully. It's a lovely colour. It's just not quite as fun to work with, I found, as the others. So at the bottom here, hopefully you can see that. Yes, I think you can. We have the Sennelier Lacquerelle Forest Green. Really beautiful colour. You get an idea of just how gorgeous it is on this swatch. So thank you to the person who recommended this to me, because that is a really stunning colour and it looks beautiful with the greenish umber. I'm so pleased I bought this. This was totally kind of on a whim. I saw it and thought it looked really nice. I hadn't seen it swatched anywhere. I just decided to get it because it looked good from what I could see online, and this was just on the Jackson's website. I just thought it sounded like a really interesting colour, and it is stunning. It's exactly the kind of green I love. So I'm so pleased to have that. And the Daniel Smith Cascade Green is absolutely crazy. It's gone like a tie-dye from like the early 90s. It's like an early 90s raver paint. It looks really, really interesting. I mean, on this one here, you can see I did another little swatch, because I did it, I think it's this one here, isn't it? And then I did another one at the top here. I think that was off camera because I wanted to give a clearer idea of what it looks like. And I really like that. That looks more subtle. Gorgeous, gorgeous colours. But yeah, this one, I don't know what happened to this one, but it's gone a bit crazy. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what I can do with that paint. At the moment, I have to be honest with you, I honestly don't know how I'm going to use it, but I'm pretty sure I will find a use for it. Anyway, so that's what they look like. I think it's a really interesting and stunning collection of colours, and it's probably the most interesting selection I've ever swatched. I mean, they're always beautiful, but yeah, there's so much variety here. So it'll be really exciting to use those in my work. So what we're going to do is, I think it'll be fun to just layer over the top in the way I would if I'm actually creating artwork. So I'm going to look at some of the other materials I bought, and yeah, we'll do a bit of layering and a bit more swatching of those. Right, so first up we have the Stabilo woody pencils. I've got a black one here and a white one. And by the way, they both have, excuse the chip nail polish, 5 stars on the side here, which I'm assuming means that they are very light fast, and I wouldn't be surprised because they're black and white, and blacks and whites usually are. My pink woody pencil, the only other one I have, has 2 stars, and I'm currently performing a light fast test on that in the studio, so I'll get back to you about that one. But yeah, so these ones actually do look as if they're light fast, which is good. So let's have a look. What should we swatch over? So sometimes I just like to add like lines or dashes. You can apply it more heavily. So this is on slightly textured paper, so you're getting that texture showing through. But do you see how well they actually layer over other media? This is why I like them. Let's just see whether that actually smudges. Do you know what? I don't think it really is. Oh, slightly. It is slightly, and it's coming off on my finger slightly as well. But I'm really having to push hard to get that to move. So yeah, it seems pretty good actually. Okay, let's try the white one. I mean, it's hard to get any kind of accuracy with these because obviously they're so thick and chunky. But they're great for mark making. As you can see, the white layers really nicely as well. I'm just going to scroll on this because it's all about just seeing how we can layer. But they are fantastic if you just want to play around with mark making and adding a little bit of extra texture as well. And perhaps if you wanted to knock back the depth of a colour, for example, you could apply a layer of this, just go over it, and it kind of creates quite interesting effects. It depends on the paper you're using. This is really cheap watercolour paper that I use for most of my swatching. I don't want to use my really good stuff for swatching. You also have to bear in mind that these paints would probably look even better on a high quality cotton watercolour paper, which this definitely isn't. But yeah, these are really interesting for creating certain effects and just playing around and having fun with. So I'm glad I have a black and a white now because I'm sure I can find a use for those. Okay, I would quite like to swatch the pencils, but I want to show you the colours. So I think what we'll do is we'll grab a little sheet of paper and just do those separately. Right, so we just have a few coloured pencils in this art haul. So I'm going to swatch these so you can have a look at the different colours. Some of them are restocks. I think a couple of them are restocks, colours I've had before. And some are new colours to me, so it'll be interesting to have a look at those. So let's start with something I know and love. This is my beloved Luminance Payne's Grey pencil, probably the most used of all my pencils. I get through quite a lot of these. So let's see if I swatch it very firmly so you can see just how these lay down. Look at the depth of that colour and the feeling of working with a Luminance pencil. I know they're expensive, but it's just such a pleasure to use them, and you get such good results with them. You see they have such an interesting texture too. And then if I go lighter and lighter, you can get quite a variation. So there you go, this is why I love this pencil so much. Great for details, great for background hills. I use it for all sorts of things. I think it's great for tree branches and trunks and so on. Anywhere you want something a little bit darker, but you don't really want to use black, for example. So another one I've restocked is the Payne's Grey 30%. So they do a Payne's Grey 60% and a Payne's Grey 30%. I use all three of them a lot in my work. I didn't restock this time on the 60% because I'd recently restocked on those, so I already have a few in my pencil case. But this is the most gorgeous paler blue-grey. So much fun to work with. Ooh, there's a little, this is very cheap paper, and there's that isn't the pencil, that's something to do. It's like a little lump on the paper. But there you go. Beautiful colour. Have I got another one here that is a restock? I think I have. Yeah, the Sepia 50%. Let's just swatch this one. The Luminance Sepia pencils, all of them, I really like. Their actual sepia is obviously very dark, and this one is the next one along, so it's kind of it's quite a warm brown, I would say. I don't know, sometimes I find it hard to tell which colours are warm and which are cold. Often I can tell, but actually with this one, I think to me it looks quite warm, but it's a very muted, subtle colour. So this one is Dark Flesh 40%. And I was using this quite a lot in a piece I was doing the other day. I mean, obviously it's Dark Flesh, but I use it for landscapes. For me, it's quite interesting to use in an autumnal landscape. And to mix with pinks and greys, this works quite well as well. So these ones are actually new to me. I haven't used their moss green, I've never tried it. I happened to see, was it Emma Carlisle using it? It may have been. I thought, oh, that sounds quite interesting. And I'm really getting into greens at the moment, and I love kind of subtle, misty greens and mossy greens and sort of foresty, piney kind of greens. And I've surprised myself because I'm really liking them when they're mixed with sometimes like lime green or something that's like more yellowish and brighter. Oh, this is a lovely one. It has just the right amount of darkness for me. I think it will go really well with the other greens I have, because I never used to really use green in my work, and I'm really getting into it now. And it's so nice to have a wider array of greens for landscapes. So that is a beautiful colour. I'm really glad I got that one. And the other one from Luminance that I haven't actually ever tried before, although I have it in other brands, is Yellow Ochre. Oh, that's a beautiful colour. See, I'm not really super into yellows, but I do love ochres. And Yellow Ochre's a great one to have for landscapes. And also, actually, coastal drawings as well. I just love Luminance. I would recommend them, even if you start with just, like say if you pick 3 of your favourite colours, and just invest in them and experiment with them, because these were the pencils that really made me fall in love with drawing with coloured pencils. Before that, I wasn't really interested, and I tried Luminance and I was completely hooked. And also one brand I'm really loving at the moment is Derwent Lightfast. These are, in fact, they're kind of similar, aren't they, to the Luminance in some ways. They look quite similar, and they actually feel quite similar to me when I'm using them, which I think is why I've kind of fallen in love with them. But it's just so creamy and smooth. It's beautiful. They're beautiful to work with, and they do really remind me of the Luminance. The texture is very similar, and this one is their purple. So it's just called purple, but it isn't like that cold bluish bright purple. It's this gorgeous sort of plummy aubergine, really warm muted kind of purple. So another stunning colour, and I'm really enjoying using that actually at the moment for doing kind of like bare trees, tree trunks. I've been drawing them in my sketchbook, and for some reason it works so well for trees, for tree trunks and branches. So obviously the purple is one I've had before and I'm restocking, but this one I'm about to show you is new to me. This is Forest, and it looks quite green, but I think it's supposed to be a little bit brown. Oh, it's like a really, really dark, gorgeous. Yeah, it's kind of like a, I'm trying to describe it. It's like a almost grey, but a very, very greenish grey. I thought it was going to be a little bit more brown, but I love it all the more for the fact that it's actually reminding me more of grey. Surprise, surprise. Oh, that's really nice. Yeah, that will go really nicely with, what was it, the moss green from Luminance. Okay, I think next we're going to swatch the Faber Castell Albrecht Dura watercolour markers. So we have an earth green, a beige red and a dark sepia, and they're double-ended. This, I guess this is more like, what do you call this, a brush tip? I'm not sure. It says maximum light fasteners, pigmented ink, water soluble. Okay, let's give it a go. Oh wow, it feels really lovely to work with. Great depth of colour. Really nice, I like that tip. Let's try the other one. Is this slightly more, yeah, this is slightly more firm. What do you call this tip? Is it like a bullet tip or something? I'm not that great at knowing different pen tips, pen nibs. Yeah, you can get a bit more precision with that end. I want to just see, actually, let's have a look and see how that layers over normal watercolour. Should we do it with this end? Just see. Yeah, that feels good actually. That layers really nicely. So this is a very basic tree. Yeah, that seems to layer well over that actually. Feels really nice to work with. I like that. First impressions are good. Okay, let's try, let's just try, actually no, I'm going to try this one next. Let's try the Beige Red. Oh, that's a really nice kind of cinnamon colour. Or like the pencil cinnamon. Polychromos pencil, that's what it reminds me of. They feel so nice. I really like the feel of them in your hand. The weight of them is nice to work with as well. Yeah, so I would say that this end, is it the bullet tip? I don't know, you'll tell me if I'm wrong. This is better for if you want to do lines, precise marks. This end, the more brush pen kind of end, is much better if you want to fill in larger areas. As you can see, it It's filled in much better on the left than on the right. But it's interesting, I like that they are double tipped, and I think they will come in very useful actually. Right, let's try the earth green, one of my favourite polychromos colours. Oh, this is actually quite different from the polychromos earth green, but it's a nice one. It reminds me more of that, bit more like that moss green up the top there. Pencil. It looks on the barrel like it's going to be more of a sort of muted greyish green. But yeah, this will be lovely. I can imagine, like, if I was out sketching and using these for a landscape. We have the white Stabilo All Aquarellable pencil. I actually haven't ever added water to this. This is a restock for me. I had one of these for the first time a few months ago, and I'm finding it really good at layering. Oh, although that, don't press hard with these pencils. This is what put me off when I first used one of these several months ago. I remember swatching it for the first time and I was like, oh my goodness, it keeps breaking. It's not, I become so used to being able to press hard with the Luminance and the Derwent Lightfast and those kind of pencils, but you can't do it with this one. You have to just be a little bit more gentle. But as you can see, it will go over even darker colours. It reminds me a little bit of the Stabilo Woody. It looks very similar actually. But it's interesting for mark making. And I think I mentioned this one in my sketchbook video recently, where I was kind of saying that you can use it like I did here to sort of cover up or knock back a colour. So if you've got an area that is just a little bit too dark and you just want to blend it in a little bit more, these pencils are really good for that. So this is what I tend to use them for. The effect on this paper is slightly strange because it's textured paper, but when I'm working in my sketchbook, it's smooth paper and it works really well. So yeah, they layer beautifully. And the other ones I got specifically because I thought they layer really well. I saw these in one of Melanie Chadwick's fairly recent videos, and she was layering them over watercolour. So I have a soft and a medium here. Let's try them over. Oh, they feel really nice. Yeah, these are really firm. I feel like I could press fairly hard with these ones. I don't know what these marks are that I'm making. This looks nothing like my work. Absolutely nothing like my work. It's all a bit crazy. Okay, so what was that one? That was the soft one. Let's see if there's any difference. Can I feel a difference in the soft and the medium? Oh, I can actually, yeah, this one does feel firmer. They really layer beautifully. Yeah, I can feel this one is softer. This is the soft pencil. There's not a huge difference. If you wanted, you could probably just buy one. I think they also do extra soft and extra hard. So they do a soft, medium, hard, an extra soft and an extra hard. So you could get one from either end. There'd probably be more difference. But these are really nice. I love the feel of them. They do layer beautifully. Oh, they do smudge a little bit, yeah. They will smudge if you do that, but actually that's quite a nice effect. I quite like that. So yeah, they feel good, and I really like how well they stand out. Let's just try them on this. Yeah. Yes, if you wanted to add detail with these, they're perfect for that. They have a really nice point, and it feels like it would stay like quite a sharp point as well for a while. Unlike this one, which already looks a bit beaten about, but is a good little pencil. It's a really good little pencil. Just don't be too firm with it. Okay, so what else do we have? I think the only other thing we have before we start just layering over the dried liquid charcoal, this one, we have these, the Art Graph soft carbon pencils. So I'm really keen to try these. So I'm going to sharpen one and we'll just layer over the top and see what it does. Okay, I sharpened one of them, and you have to be very careful when you're sharpening them because the lead is so thick compared to the thin wooden casing. So I'm going to be a little bit careful with this. Oh wow, that is super black, isn't it? My hands are gradually getting more and more dirty. I'm just going to try it down here. See? Oh, be careful, don't press too hard. Yeah, it's a bit like drawing with charcoal. That's not too much of a surprise. Let's see. Yeah, they do smudge a little bit. I'm pressing quite hard though. But I'm loving the depth of these. Trying not to press too hard because I'm a bit worried it's going to break, but will it layer over? Oh, it will. It's layering over the woody. And what about this little pencil? Yes, it will lay. Oh my goodness, it's completely covering it up. It will layer over the Stabilo oil pencil too. You can see it's covered up that little cloud I did. Oh, it feels really nice to use. It's much more kind of rough and textured, I would say. Really like that. So this is the dried liquid charcoal by Schmincke. This is how it's dried. I am absolutely loving the textures. This is like giving you instant texture with very, very little effort. Sorry, my hand is smudging. Yes, it will smudge. There we go. Just to show you. So it smudges when it's applied more heavily. Let's have a look. I'm going to sit down. I'm standing up at the moment. Just sit down and have a look. My hands are absolutely filthy. I did wash the paint off from earlier. But let's see if we can smudge it. Okay, so it doesn't smudge as much. It smudges a little bit, but not as much when it's applied more thinly. I mean, so if you weren't kind of running your finger over that, you see these ones down here, they're not really smudging at all. So if you apply it lightly, it doesn't really smudge. At this level, it's smudging a little bit. I can feel that kind of powdery feeling. And then if it's applied thickly, you can smudge it a bit when it's dry, but actually you could use that to your benefit. And actually, or advantage, that's the word I'm looking for. Use that to your advantage and create some really interesting effects with that. I love this texture. I wonder whether, let's see, what can I go over the top with? Let's have a go with the white pencil and just see how well. Yeah, that layers nicely. See, it's worn down already. You can get through these pencils quite quickly, the Stabilo oil. Let's have a go with the woody. Oh yeah, that's a little bit more bold. Got the black woody on top of that. Ooh. Oh, I'm liking that. Quite dramatic. And so say if we wanted to go over the lighter one with, let's use this Don't Light Fast purple and see, oh yeah. Oh, that does make a nice base. Yeah, I can see that I would use this liquid charcoal as an interesting base to work on, because as I said, it kind of gives you that texture to work on top of, so it provides a really interesting background. And you know, I didn't really have to do that much to get the texture. I think I'm going to have to experiment in my sketchbook with these and show you some proper artworks, because obviously at the moment I'm very much just doodling and playing around, but it'd be interesting to see how they look when I'm using them properly. But yeah, the pencil layers over it really nicely. Very impressed with that. I'm wondering what else we could do. Just let's try this. Yeah, the Pitt oil base feels really good over the top of it. The only thing is, it's very smudgy. So, like obviously where I've been leaning, I've got it all over my hand. It has a really interesting, moody, illustrative look that I think I could really do something with. I'm going to experiment with this, and I will show you my experiments, because I don't want to leave it at this. These are just messy swatches. I would really like to try and create some proper artwork with it and really show you what it can do. This has turned into probably a very long video, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly say goodbye now. Thank you for watching. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Let me know in the comments below if there's anything here that you think you're going to buy as well. Has anything sparked your imagination? Has it inspired you? Yeah, let me know. And obviously I'm always open to suggestions for other materials you think that I might like and enjoy experimenting with. But thank you everyone for sticking with me if you're still here at the end. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you again soon in the next video.